Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome back to Cardiff City World. Today we are going to go full data-driven mad as we look at 5 transfer targets that could potentially fit into Brian Barry Murphy's identity as Cardiff City manager. We're talking championship level experience, midfield engines, classic wide speed, fluid front play, modern wing backs, all backed by the stats. And yes, I've grabbed the heat maps and all the rest of it as well. But we'll see if I can actually get them to work because they weren't just working, so I shouldn't have said that. But there we go. It is what it is, isn't it? So, number 1 on my list, Mason Holgate, age 28. Mason Holgate is a naturally right-sided defender. He started his career at fullback, transitioned to centrally. He has over 127 Premier League appearances and a full championship run last season. He's out of contract and he's available free. His SofaScore average sits at about 7 out of 10 per game. That's a sign of real consistent performance at West Brom. On FB Ref, he ranks in the top 15% of championship centre-backs for aerial duels and progressive passing per 90, which means not only can he defend, but he's decent on the ball. He diffuses danger, he steps into midfield, he keeps the team calm. Holgate is a leader. He's a guy who's good on the ball, but defensively solid as well. I believe that he could be exactly what we're looking for. He's a good age, he's experienced, perfect in terms of being a leader who's played at a higher level to play with the young players, good on the ball, 75% success rate over a season in aerial duels is phenomenal. Progressive passes, makes 7 progressive passes per 90 minutes on average last year. That's good as well. He'll step into midfield and he'll play to the shape. He can receive the ball under pressure. He can play out from the back, but he can also do the defensive side. So for me, it's a no-brainer on a free. I really think he could be the right fit to go in alongside our young defenders and show them the way. And defensive midfielders, number 6. I really like David Casemu from Peterborough. Now, Peterborough have got real dire financial issues. They've already lost Poku. They've already lost Ricky J. Jones. And if my list was to be anything to go by, they're about to lose 2 more players. I really like Ethan Galbraith, but I didn't want to put him on this list again because I put him on a different list. But I do really like Ethan Galbraith, and I'd like to see us sign him. But Casemu is a midfield energy personified. He averages 2.7 progressive passes, 1.6 progressive carries, and about 3 tackles and interceptions per 90 minutes, as per FB Ref. He's very combative, ball-moving engine. SofaScore charts him at consistently between 7 and 7.2 across the season. He covers the ground, he breaks line, and he counts as a pressing powerhouse. Exactly digging into BBM and what he wants and what his blueprint for a side is. This guy ticks a lot of boxes. Over last season, he averaged 2.7 progressive passes per 90, 1.6 progressive carries, which is, I think, important for number 6, be able to carry the ball. Defensive actions, averaging 3 to 4 per game, and he averaged, as I say, 7 out of 10. He will hold that central midfield zone. He will hold that shield defence. He will, similar to what Psyopus used to do, he can add to attacking shape and attacking zones when you need to. He can also step into the build-up when need to. He's decent enough on the ball to do so. Let's look at some wingers. So I've gone for 2 wingers. I've gone for one which is an out-and-out winger, and then I've also gone for one who's like a play wide, play up front, etc. So you've got Luke Molyneux of Doncaster, age 26, League Two's direct flank maestro. Last season, 16 goals, 12 assists, the highest can be combined total for goal contributions in League Two. FB Ref reflects his explosive output. He has a 0.66 goals and assists per 90 minutes over the season. SofaScore averages 7 out of 10 per game, and that's backed by reports of teammates and opposition praising his phenomenal dribbling ability and his end product. He hugs the win, he stretches defences, provides quality service and final balls. That is an easy fit for Brian Barry Murphy's system. But most importantly is what we are crying out for. Yes, it's in League Two, but like sometimes you can pick up a little gem, and 26. He's experienced, he's fast, he's skillful, he scores goals and creates goals. Like, it's a no-brainer to me. I tell you that now. When you look at like those stats, like I said, 16 goals in total, 12 assists, averaging 0.66 assists per 90 with a XG of 2.0 assists per 90, average rating of 7 out of 10, and that's over the whole season. He is a wing channel dominant player. He will, like I said, hug the touchline, isolate the fullbacks one-on-one, look for his fullback to overlap him. His final ball is excellent. His variety of crossing is excellent, whether it's pullbacks, whether it's whipped in, floated to the back post. He does it all. Now, again, I'm not saying it's not without risk. Anyone who's coming from League Two is a risk. But let's be clever with our signings, and if he fits the system and he has the skill set and the attributes and the technical ability to do what we need, then get him. Even if you get him in on like a 12-month contract with an option of one more for this season, I think it's worth the risk. Next up then is the forward who's can also play through the middle and wide, and that's Adrian Adoa. We mentioned him the other day. Small frame, big impact. 38 games for Peterborough last year. He's age 24. 5 goals, 7 assists, 12 goal contributions in the league. 0.31 goal and assist per 90. FB Ref shows his XG at 3.44 over the season, and his expected assists at 3.48, with 77% pass accuracy and a 7.7 crossing accuracy. 7.7, that might be reading that wrong. But he presses, he dribbles, he shifts the ball wide. Centrally, he can add invaluable channel running, gives the manager tactical flexibility. 38 appearances, plenty of goal contributions, 77% pass accuracy from a season, which again means he doesn't give the ball away, which is remarkable for someone who's in the attacking areas. He's got that crossing accuracy. I think he looks much more comfortable in the wide areas, but he's very good in the press on the central areas. He's quick, he's skillful, he's flexible. I would certainly test the waters with regards to him. Peterborough need the money. He can shift roles in the game. He presses like a demon, but he's really good in the link up as well between midfield and attack. When he plays in those central areas, he can drop into the pockets and link everything together. It's quite nice. And then I looked at a right back. I think we need to say goodbye to Perry NG and look for some fresh voices, some fresh minds, and that's for his benefit as much as it is the team's. I think Corey O'Keefe of Barnsley would be a shout. 26, and look, there's other right backs there which I think fill this sort of similar role that you're looking for, because for me, I'm looking for someone who can play 25, 30 games at right back. And maybe if Rita Motor can do that, you don't need to bring in a right back then, because I think Rona Kipakio he needs to be playing 20, 25 games at least. So Corey O'Keefe is again a cheap option. He predominantly, I think, is better as a wing back, but he played over 3,000 minutes last season. 1.5 interceptions per 90, 2 crosses per game. SofaScore's got his monthly ratings at 6.8 to 7.6 throughout the season, which again is so consistent. He's physically fit. He's 1.84 meters tall, dependable defender as well, so he can do the defensive side. He's probably exactly the profile of player that Brian Barry Murphy wants. He can overlap, he can invert, he's decent on the ball, but defensively sound. I think, as I say, he played over 3,000 minutes. He's got the crosses per game, interceptions, average ratings are good throughout the season. When you look at his heat maps, very wide, very, very wide. And I think that's what we need. One thing we really lacked is width and pace in the wide areas. So I'd really like to see us address that. In terms of his defensive work, he's very good. Good in the press, good at nipping in front of the winger, but also can drop back and do that defensive work. So for me, it's almost like a bit of a no-brainer again. These aren't, maybe with Mason Holgate, the sort of one which stands out because I think his wages will be decent. They're not superstar signings. It's about balance, and it's about getting the right fit for Barry Murphy's system, but it's also about addressing the holes in Cardiff's side. I really like Casemu, I really like Adoa, and I really like Holgate. And then I think O'Keefe and Molyneux would represent intelligent signings, but not without risk, if that makes sense. And look, we're going to look at 5 players under 25 that Barry Murphy could sign. We're going to look at 5 players over 30 that Barry Murphy could sign. We're going to do a bit of a scout report on Ethan Galbraith, Mason Holgate. We're going to do all sorts of videos looking at different players. And again, when I make a video like this where I run through, and I've done it quick today for this exact reason, where we do a list like this of 5 players, I'm not saying we should sign them all. I'm just using their profile, their skill set, their attributes as an example of the sort of players that Cardiff could be looking at, that maybe instead of going to spend like a couple of million on someone, you can get a bit of a bargain by picking up a Molyneux from League Two, or an O'Keefe from Barnsley, whatever it may be, and they fill the hole for 12 months for this season, and then if you get promoted, you can look at it again and think, right, can they make the step up, or is League One their season a seedling, and you need to move them on, give them a year with an option now, and make them earn the long-term contract. That's what I would do. It's interesting. I wanted to address, before I finish up, kind of each one, and maybe like the tactical side of how they fit in the system. So Mason Holgate, in terms of in possession, say 4-3-3, out of possession in a 3-2-5, Holgate can be positioned as the right-sided centre-back. He can then, when we have the ball, step into midfield and join the build-up. He can also provide overloads and help the holding midfielder with that sort of dual lane support. He can push out wide if the fullback pushes up, and cover the wide areas because he's done it as a right back previously. In terms of Casemu, I think most likely he plays a single pivot in a 4-3-3, but he's used to that. Sit between, he'll drop between the centre backs in the build up, but he'll also shield the back four when needed to. He will cover the flanks when the fullbacks push up. He will press and nip and win the ball around the halfway line with a lot of second ball recoveries. Luke Molyneux, he'll be the right side of a 4-3-3, hug the touchline, he'll push forward and he'll isolate his fullbacks, but then every now and again he'll cut inside and allow for the overlaps. He also would suit a fullback like O'Keefe, who goes for those overlaps, but also provides an option for the fullback to invert, and then you find the half spaces and the overloads, getting support from centre midfield. Adoa, like he's shown he can drift between wide left, wide right, central striker role. He's flexible, but his movement around the half spaces and his movement in the wide areas is right up there. His pressing is exceptional, and I also think that those half spaces and pockets, because of his skills and his ball carrying ability, can be very, very dangerous in the way that Cardiff City will play, especially if you've got a Yusuf Salic, you've got a Ruben Colwell, and these types of players who are good on the ball. He could be really dangerous, and that link-up play, triangles around the edge of the box, could be quite exciting. Corey O'Keefe, look, I think he's more suited to a wing back role. But I think, with a Molyneux cutting in and stuff, Keane Ashford, Ollie Tanner, O'Keefe has got a lot of room for progression, and yeah, it might not be a long-term solution, but you don't want a long-term solution because you don't want to halt Ronan Pacquiao's progression. He's good at recovering the ball. He's good at supporting the midfield. He's good at supporting his winger. So it makes a lot of sense. He's experienced, but he's also able to play in League One and do it well. So that's a quick video on 5 players that I think Cardiff could look at that fit the system that Brian Barry Murphy likes to play and the philosophy that he likes to play with. I'm really interested in what you guys think. If you haven't already, check out my video on Eli King. Check out my series on Brian Barry Murphy. Check out The Rebuild, which got a new episode coming this week. And also check out my video on the new assistant manager. We got all sorts of stuff. We are killing it at the moment. Just content constantly on Cardiff City 7 days a week. If you're not a member, come on, what are you doing? Become a member. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for all the support. Thank you so much for all the feedback. Keep the faith. The rebuild has begun. In a bit.